Watch the ride.
What's this? Just ignore this, okay? Just ignore this. This didn't happen. You like the string though? Yeah. I may have just bought an Xbox One. See, now I have wanted to buy an Xbox One since they came out. 4 years ago, nearly 5 years ago as it turns out. And I always resisted, waiting for the prices to come down. Because you remember when they first came out, they were stupid money. And they were massive. Well, they've come down in size, they've come down in price. And when Battlefield 1 came out, that nearly broke me. That was nearly the straw that broke the camel's back, as it were. But it didn't work. I resisted. And then I saw the trailer for Battlefield 5 and it was just like, oh my god. I don't think I can hold out anymore. I've been holding out for 4 years. You know, that's a fair amount of time. I don't spend money on myself very often. It's normally on work stuff and just general bills. So I was like, do you know what? Well, it wasn't just me. There was someone on Twitter was goading me on. You see, I said about the Battlefield 5 trailer was the thing that kind of was really getting me. Well, not the trailer as such, but just the existence of the game and how good it looks compared to... Because it's the thing he said, yeah, no, the trailer's not that good though. And it's like, I'm playing Hardline on a 360. How good do you think it looks to me now? It looks freaking amazing. And that Battlefield 1 is actually the game that's made me get it. But with the bonus of how good Battlefield 5 looks to me, yeah, it's awesome. So my options to buying one were like, do I buy a new one? Or do I buy a second-hand one? And I thought, well, obviously, I'll just get one from CEX. I'll get a cheap one, you know. Do I want the old one that's really big and fat? No, I don't really have the space for it. So we're going to want to get a small one. It's slim. So I was like, right, I want an Xbox One S, 1TB. CEX, for one that had quite clearly coffee stains on it and dents in the controller. I'm not kidding. Physical dents, they wanted 180 quid. And I said to them, how is this £180 when they brand new 1TB? Oh, that was only a 500GB, by the way. How can that be 180 in a brand spanking new, without tea stains and dents one, with a terabyte in it, be 220? And they were like, well, you know, the price and we can't control it. I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not paying that. So I ended up spending, it cost $230, but I got a game with it as well. Sea of Thieves, because it looks good. So it was like, well, okay, because I compared to Amazon's like $220. It's like, it's 10 quid more for a game. And then I picked up a copy of Battlefield 1 for 6 quid. So all in all, I've actually spent less than what I would have spent if I bought it online and bought Battlefield 1 new. And before people start losing their shit going, but PlayStation, look, okay, I'm not 15, I really don't care. I like Xbox. I've used Xbox for years. I switched out of PlayStation because I didn't want to use PlayStation back then. This was going back to, I had the PSX and a PS1, and then I went to Xbox, and I've been with Xbox ever since. I don't really like the PlayStation controllers. I'm sorry, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Yes, if you go down to the nitty gritty, I'm sure that one may be better than the other, but to me, it doesn't matter, and I prefer the Xbox experience. And I have Xbox Live now anyway, so it makes much more sense for me to do that. I wish more games were more backwards compatible though, that does stink a little bit. But I've still got my 360, I thought about trading it in and I was like, yeah, but I've got loads of games that I will still play occasionally, or I don't know. And then there'll be others that will say, yeah, but it's still a console, so that sucks. I'm sorry, I'm not into PC gaming. I can totally get why people do it, but I just prefer playing it with consoles. It's just something I always have done, you know. My setup allows me to sit more comfortably doing it than that. Also, my computer is actually a work computer, which was bought through my company, and technically it shouldn't be used for gaming reasons. But I could just say, well, it's research, because I'm going to do a video talking about it, and thus it's now perfectly fine to play games on there. It's amazing how this all works. And if you're a Call of Duty fan, oh my god, I love Call of Duty too. It's different to me. But I've always been more on the Battlefield side, because it's a little less hectic. Although Hardline was like, it was good. I liked Hardline. And you might disagree with me on that as well. I don't care. I like what I like. If you don't like it, that's fine, don't play it. Gaming is such an argumentative subject. So what is my gaming history? I don't know if I've ever been over this. Amiga 600, well, was it a Commodore? Was it an Amstrad? I can't remember, it was one with the tapes and then you had to like rewind and play and shit to get them to load. We had one of those at one point, but I didn't really play on that much. Then we had an Amiga 600. It was 600 or 500? 600, I think. Ridiculousness, just after ridiculousness of that thing. We thought it was amazing, you know, Rise of the Robots, 10 discs. No, 13 discs. And sometimes a battle will take loading 5 discs, and each one takes like 5 minutes. And people complain about waiting like 20 seconds these days. It's like, you're for real. I've played Sega Mega Drive a bit in between, didn't have one myself though. Then we got an N64, that was actually my brother's, but I played that. I've played it a fair bit with him. Then I got a PlayStation, this is in the PSX, the old square one. Then a PS1. Then a GameCube, then a Dreamcast. The Dreamcast, I think, was actually one of the most underrated game systems that I've ever had. It was really good. It was really ahead of its time, or it seemed. Like, the level of detail that they put in those games was staggering compared to the PlayStation of the day. And then, yeah, Xbox original, and then Xbox 360. And I've had a couple of those because I've had problems with them. I mean, who hasn't had problems with the tray not opening or it being unable to read the disc? I used to be in a clan on PGR. I used to play so much PGR at night, God. Like Cat and Mouse and all the stuff we used to do. God, you'll remember it if you're from those days. Cat and Mouse and the other games we invented. I can't even remember. Oh, Last Man Standing, that was the other one. Last Man Standing. Now, they were some fun games to play until 4 o'clock in the morning. But the clan kind of fell apart as different people changed parts of their aspects of their lives. We weren't all around at the same time. And then we just ended. And in recent years I haven't really played that much at all. When I've been injured is the time that I tend to play more. Played through Far Cry 3 and 4, I think. Was it 3 and 4? Yeah. A couple of other games, Call of Duties and the Battlefields. Not that anyone really plays it for the single player, but you know, they're fun to do once. Even though Call of Duty, well actually, both of them are kind of like it. At times it's just like, either like press A, now press B, now press C, or not C, you know what I mean? And, you know, and then it's just cutscene, oh, you're amazing, this blew up. Kind of boring. But I loved the old Call of Duty, the World War II one. Was it World War II? Yeah, I think so. The old one. Was that on the original PlayStation? I loved that one. So the Battlefield 1 being Battlefield, which I like, plus it's it's World War 1 in this one. It's just awesome. Look, it's a Chinook. They're doing all sorts of army, military stuff around at the moment. The other night, I heard this really strange but very loud aircraft buzz over a couple of times, and I managed to catch a glimpse of it on the sort of the third or fourth pass. Two of these like 30-foot wide green discs buzzing through the air. And I was just like, that is a UF... No, I knew exactly what it was. It was an Osprey. How cool are Ospreys, the tilt-rotor plane helicopter thingies. But it buzzed over the house going very quickly at I'm sure they were below what they were supposed to be at, minimum altitude. But I liked it. Anyway, so yeah, there's my gaming history. I have just gone and spent money on something that I really didn't need to, and I don't do that very often, so I'm not feeling too bad about it. I'll just have to work some more and sell some clocks and some keychains. I've got to make some more keychains. As much as I'm very serious about smart spending and I don't allow myself many luxuries or anything like that, just because it's easier to live that way, occasionally it's worth it. Like this video if you agree I did the right thing of buying an updated console. Let's not get into the arguments of who makes the better console and who lost the most amount of people's personal information. 50 million, was it, PlayStation? 50 million? Anyway, I'm going home, and I'm not about to break out the console and start playing it. I'm saving that for the weekend. I've got work to do. This channel is made possible by the support of the audience. Please check out the links in the description and all the different ways you can help support the channel. Any help is greatly appreciated. Let's just take a minute to look at this picture here and question, why is the cat so dissatisfied? It's because he's contemplating, why is it that humans always try and feed us fish when naturally cats never eat fish because they hate water? And so the cycle continues.